Welcome into the PHNX Suns show on a Tuesday. I am Espo, he is Saul Bookman, and somebody finally decided to join us back in the studio. It's Gerald Bourget. Gerald, how was the vacation?
It was fantastic. I needed the time off. I got to go to New Orleans and then take a trip with the fiance and my sister and her husband to Minnesota. So it was nice. I ate really well. It was a good time.
Was it humid as hell in Minnesota?
Oh, man. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 days that we got in there, it was like 90s and the humidity was insane. I was not a fan.
What was worse, Minnesota or New Orleans in terms of humidity?
Minnesota.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, yeah.
Wow.
New Orleans was just kind of hot, but Minnesota, it felt like, it was just like a blanket of moisture on your entire body.
Are there two more diametrically opposed places than New Orleans and Minnesota?
Not really.
Compton and freaking Central Phoenix.
No. Well, yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. Compton and Gilbert. How about that?
Okay, there we go.
But you know where we're going with that.
Well, I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you,
Gerald. We got plenty to talk about today. We're having a little Trash Talk Tuesday. Don't worry, Gerald. We're not just going to insult you for having been gone for a week, but we're going to actually talk about some of our favorite trash talkers in Phoenix Suns history. Since it's a topical Tuesday, we're going to do our top 8 of each. And which one of you gentlemen wants to start?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
All right, my list of biggest trash talkers in Suns history starts obviously with number 1, Charles Barkley. There's nobody that's going to top him. He didn't give a shit about you, and he would let you know to your face. And then number 2, Raja Bell. Obviously, the clothesline of Kobe's the most iconic of the bunch, but Raja didn't take any shit from anyone, anytime. The Morai. They are very much disliked for a reason, because they don't know how to shut the fuck up. And that's obviously been in existence not only here, but also at their other stops. Devin Booker, hey, listen, he's not going to back down from anybody. He'll let you know it if you've seen some of those clips. And I do want to give a shout out to my guy, Perplex Damage. He's the one that was like, hey, you guys should talk about some of the biggest shit talkers in Suns history, because he's been watching a channel, and I forgot what the channel was named, but there's a lot of like, where it kind of translates what's going on in some of these behind the scenes clips. Reading. Not bad lip reading. It's actually telling. Yeah. And then going back to that list, number 5, I have KD, because KD is just KD. Chris Paul. Gerald and I used to laugh because once a game he would do something that would make you laugh. And a lot of this stuff was like, it's really passive aggressive shit talk is what Chris Paul does. And then rounding it out, 7, Sam Cassell. Because Sam Cassell was a G, and that is not Sam Cassell. That is definitely Kevin Johnson in that image. I don't know why Kevin Johnson's right there, but I assure you, Sam Cassell, who looks like E.T., is not that guy. And then number 8, Xavier McDaniel. People don't know X a lot because he was like the late 80s is when he came to the Suns, I believe, from Seattle. But he was also a shit talker. There's also when he went to the Knicks, he was even bigger shit talker because he talked a lot of shit to MJ, and that didn't go over so well for the Knicks.
2 things.
Okay.
1, I wouldn't put the Morai on that because they don't talk shit directly on the court. They wait till they're off of it and talk it where nobody can do anything about it because they're punks and fake tough guys. 2, how did you leave your buddy Eddie Johnson off your list? This better be on Outside Shots on Thursday because Eddie is going to eviscerate Saul and show him what true trash talking is.
I can't tell if he's like excited for it or if that's like I immediately regret this
I think he
decision.
forgot.
No, number 1, I did forget. Number 2, I get shit talked by Eddie every single week. It's not anything new, so I'm not worried about Eddie.
I'm not worried. I mean, the Morai, though, I will say they were so good at talking trash, they talk shit to their own fan base that one time. So that's a lot of guys haven't done that. That's like when Happy Gilmore bragged about taking off a skate and trying to stab somebody with it. Like nobody's ever done that before.
They reportedly also talk crap to their mom's boyfriend too. Yeah, so.
I'm not going to get into that.
Allegedly, I don't want to get sued. Allegedly,
a lot of people in the chat is like, Emma's got to stop using Goggle and she's got to use Google.
I typed too fucking fast. I said Google Images did me dirty, and I typed
Goggle images. Damn you, Goggle images.
Damn,
that's tough.
Taking strays, Emma.
I know.
Man.
Okay, who wants to go next?
We can go ahead and bring up mine next. Let's do mine. I'm actually going to put Devin Booker in the number 1 spot. Ooh. I feel like he's building up quite a resume. You talk about the stuff with Luka. You talk about Klay Thompson, a guy who rarely gets mad at anybody getting into it with Devin Booker. And that's a guy that Klay Thompson has a lot of respect for. I feel like he's one of the more underrated trash talkers in the league, especially because he is so good and he'll just say that one little thing that'll needle guys. Charles Barkley, obviously an all-time great Suns trash talker.
You know why I put Charles number 1 instead of Devin Booker?
Why is that?
It's because in Charles's day, and I don't mean to use that phrase.
It's fair.
Like, if you shit talk, you better be ready to fight too.
That is true.
And there's a big difference between now's day and age and back then, I would say.
I'd argue Book is ready to fight. A lot of the guys he talks trash to aren't.
I think
he'd kick Luka's ass if he had the opportunity.
I'm not going to speak to Devin Booker's fisticuffs prowess, but
put him up.
Put up your dukes. But I will say he's gotten into, like, you could name a player on pretty much every team that he's had a spat with here or there. Gorgie Jang, Troy Daniels that one time, like, it's on the court, it's off the court. He talks a lot of shit. Yes. And we're here for it. Jay Crowder, I feel like, is going to get lost in time, but his troll job of the Lakers in that one series alone puts him in the top 8 with the salsa dancing and everything.
And the way he ran off the court, it was so.
Like I'm glad that we're getting to a place where we can look back fondly on Jay Crowder's time here. Rajah Bell, another all-time great. Like, everyone remembers the clothesline, but it was more than just that. Mikal Bridges, sneakily, people are going to say that this is a weird pick, and I understand it. But when you hold up 3 fingers and point at an opposing bench every time you make a corner 3, you're pressing some buttons there.
I think that's more trolling than it is trash talk.
Isn't it psychological warfare?
Yeah, but I'm kind of here for that. Like, he's laughing. He's having a good time on the court. If I was an opponent, I feel like that would piss me off maybe even more than trash talking. Like, God, this guy's having such a good time at our fucking expense this whole time. Eddie Johnson had to give some respect there. Chris Paul, like you said, Saul, he does shit that is just so funny on the court. Like, it's the pettiest stuff, the rip throughs, all of that. And then I feel like Gerald Green had that one season where he was just like, it was that 2013-14 season where Dragic was insane. And Gerald Green was just dunking everything and talking shit the whole time. Like, he was fun to watch that year.
He even talked shit to me. I asked him the first time I met him, I asked him about the dunk contest. He lost his ever-loving mind on me and talked all sorts of shit. So even off the court to reporters or people that work for the team, Gerald Green would talk some shit. Let's go to my list here. And Eli in the chat says, I better have Sarver on the list. Yeah, no. Sarver wasn't a shit talker. Sarver was just a piece of crap.
He just spewed filth from his mouth.
Just a piece of crap. Look, Eddie is number 1. Anybody that does not say Eddie Johnson, it deserves the top spot on here, is insane.
You know he can't hear you right now.
No, I'm not saying it. Eddie talked shit to the greatest shit talkers in the game. He went at Reggie. He went at Jordan. He talked shit to everybody Larry Bird.
Have you heard his Larry Bird story?
Yeah, well, I mean, he got punked sometimes talking shit to these guys.
Did not go over like that.
But we did not say who won a shit-talking battle that shut down the other team. We're talking about guys that just like to talk shit. Okay. And Eddie was at the top of that list. I agree with Gerald. Devin Booker already on this list. Can we pull up that quote that I pulled up, Emma, here? This was freaking KD back in 2017. He had this to say about Devin Booker. Devin Booker will talk a little, and then he says he loved the game. He a dog. He likes to talk shit. He'll rough you up too. He'll get up into you. Better watch out for that boy because he's nice. He's next. I'm telling you. Like even back in 2017, year 2 in this league, Kevin Durant, who eventually would blow up the Nets so he could come play with Devin Booker, even recognized the shit talking of Devin Booker. So he's there at 2. Charles Barkley 3. Maybe a little disrespect here for Chuck's ability. Maybe.
I mean, Charles Barkley talks shit to everybody. He talks shit to the fans. He fought fans. He was like, hey, you better take that shit off the windows in Chicago after they won Game 5. Like the Charles Barkley disrespect on the trash talking list is crazy to me. Charles Barkley would talk shit to EJ too.
Yeah, and he would talk right back.
Charles Barkley talked shit to Shaq and nobody would talk shit to Shaq. Yeah. And then he fucking tried to fight him. Like Charles Barkley is number 1. What are we doing here, people?
EJ to this day still will talk shit to anybody that's in his orbit.
Now. Like, that's what all people do. That's all they do is talk shit.
Eddie Johnson is the greatest trash talker in Suns history. Barkley should have been 2. Devin Booker's right on his heels. I'll say that. I can at least admit that. PJ Tucker was a bad mother, in talking trash. He was a guy that I loved watching talk shit from courtside, all right? Tom Chambers, underrated shit talker, and still does it to this day.
Really?
So Tom Chambers, yeah.
That's
like,
interesting.
what does he say?
He talks total shit.
I want to hear an example.
So he'd light me up all the time about, I'd wear bow ties. He'd make the bow tie was never
an easy
ending.
target there.
But Eddie didn't go at the low hanging fruit. Eddie would find something good to needle you with. Tom would go after
like your feet.
The obvious thing, But I'll never forget. We forgot in social to recognize the anniversary of the 60-point game Tom Chambers
How dare you,
had. I have never had so much shit talk to me and basically have a guy hold a grudge as much as that. It wasn't even a major anniversary.
But was it shit talking or was he just trashing?
No, it was shit talking.
So it was like in love.
Give me a hard time. Oh yeah, with Eddie and Tom, if they're not talking trash to you, they don't like you.
That's true.
If they're quiet, they don't like you.
Okay,
like that's very, very clear, and you learn that very on. Like Eddie and Tom would go at you right away, and if you couldn't handle it, they just didn't talk to you anymore.
I mean, Charles is still going hard right now
in media,
and he's going and people catch strays from Charles.
They will,
like the San Antonio women,
all the time. The whole city of San Antonio catches strays.
Never mind, I'm not going there.
Yeah, don't go there.
Let's go back to the list here. I have Chris Paul. I think it's an obvious. Jock Landale, I mean, we saw it firsthand. Jock Landale can talk some shit, all right?
Okay, but my question, though, is are these people that talk shit on the basketball court or just to you personally?
No, definitely. Chambers did it on the court. PJ Tucker. I mean,
Jock doesn't.
I feel like Jock doesn't talk very much.
I think he does.
I think he gets pumped up, but I don't think he talks shit.
We can ask him, but he's good off the court at least. Look what he did to McHale as well. And then Matt Barnes.
Yep.
All right.
That's a good one.
To me, this dude came back after he was on the Suns in a game, went courtside during a game, right up to Robert Sarver and said, "I will slap the shit out of you." In a game to the owner that he used to play for, and he said that to him. That is the ultimate trash talking right there. Like that was next level. I don't care. You can kiss my ass. All right.
There's some people in the chat. Triple B has mentioned Maurice Lucas back in the day for sure. Another honorable mention would be Dennis Johnson. I talked to Eddie and I asked him. I said, "Is there anybody from back in the day that you would consider a big trash talker that used to play for the Suns?" And I asked him about Dennis Johnson. He said Dennis Johnson wasn't so much a shit talker as he was more like a psychological kind of like mental game kind of fuck you in the head kind of guy. So I
told you guys this when we were talking before the show. I imagine Connie Hawkins was. He grew up in Rucker Park.
So mild mannered,
but later in life. But I imagine you can't grow up playing in those games and with everything that happened to him, where he got banned from the league for a while, that he didn't come in with an edge at some point.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of these. Maurice Lucas, like you said, probably should have been on the list. That was an oversight on my part.
Somebody said Danny Ainge too.
Yeah. Was he a trash talker, or was he just annoying?
He was
annoying.
He was definitely an instigator.
But is instigator the same thing as trash talker?
Yes.
If I play dirty on a court, that's different than talking trash to you.
Yeah, but it's also like your mannerisms, the way you go about doing it. Like there's different forms of trash talk. And you just know basically the whole purpose of trash talk is to try and get somebody mentally out of their game or get under their skin somehow, some way, right? And Danny Ainge was one of the best of that.
I mean, if we were rating massive on-court jackasses, Danny Ainge probably would have been number one on my list.
My thing with Danny Ainge is it felt like every time he was on a highlight, he was on the wrong end of it. Like if you go back and watch Michael Jordan highlights from that era, like Danny Ainge is always getting the business from him.
Can we go up to Zypher's comment here as well? Zypher says, this list is is of the people who have roasted Espo the most in his career.
That's all it was. It was all personal.
Hold on.
It was all personal.
Saul Bookman would be on that list if that was true.
I never played in the NBA, so I can't be on that.
Tangentially, you're part of the Suns family since we do this so often. If it was just guys that gave me shit all the time, Bookman would be on that list. You know what list you should be on, Saul, though? The people... The people that,
I forgot your transitions, how they work around here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not all of us can ask better questions like Lindsay does while transitioning.
I'm sorry.
So, you know what list you should be on? The list of people who have signed up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app using that code PHNX. It is totally easy. You go download the BetMGM Sportsbook app, whether you use Apple or Android. They got it for both. Or if you're older and you just use the web browser, you can go to betmgm.com and do it. Sign up, deposit at least $10 into your BetMGM Sportsbook account, place your first wager up to $1,500, and you're going to get that back in bonus bets if you lose. So whatever you wager, you're going to get back in bonus bets. So you don't have to worry about it. If you're terrible at betting like me, you're going to get it right back. So don't have to worry about that. I'm looking forward to it. Like we talked about the other day, hammer the over on the Suns. 51 is where they're sitting. And I think that I would go way over on that when it comes to the Suns. So I'm looking at that one as a great bet. I'd probably bet against the Cardinals next weekend, too, if I'm looking to win some money. So sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app using the promo code PHNX. Deposit $10 and place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if it loses. Here's Shane with the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
I really hope people can't hear what we say behind that.
Thank God. Read. Emma, just make sure you keep hitting mute. Gerald, you've been away, so you haven't heard about this.
I have.
Circle K's Inner Circle.
I just used it today for the first time.
Isn't it amazing?
The 25 cents off on gas.
Okay.
Yeah, you sign up. You go. It's easy. You download the Circle K app. Then you sign up for the Inner Circle right there in the app, and they'll send you a text message. You're in, right? And you're going to get 25 cents off your first 5 fill-ups.
Okay.
I got 5.
You don't even have to have your phone.
You just put in your phone number.
You just put in your phone number and boom.
Ooh,
25
nice.
cents off.
You're also going to get 5 free Polar Pops, which I've already used 2 of them, which is fantastic. And then every 6th item that you buy, you're going to get free on select Circle K products like pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, and more. So join that Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. So here at PHNX this week, it's been PHNX Ranks. We've been looking at the top 25 athletes of all time in Arizona. We had a panel of 15 experts, journalists, and media members from across the years and across the state, all voted on their top 25. Today we released 20 through 16. And here's a look at who was on that list. Kurt Schilling, Terrell Suggs, Randall McDaniel, Paul Goldschmidt, and coming in at 16 is KJ Kevin Johnson, the point guard from the Suns from the late 80s through the late 90s.
What school?
Huh?
What school did you go to?
I went to Cal.
There you go.
You really? You want to test me on Suns trivia?
I mean, I'm just asking.
Cal.
You just asked a question.
What number? What number?
You want to try me?
You want to go, Bookman?
Do you know who I am? I'm like, oh, okay.
What
right.
was KJ's first number with the Suns?
Oh, I don't know.
It was 11.
There you go.
The half season he played here after the trade, he wore number 11.
Okay.
So he was on the list. Obviously, a impact on the court, 3-time All-Star, second all-time on the Suns in assists behind Steve Nash, won the most improved player in 1988-89. Also, we understand KJ is problematic off the court in some ways. There obviously were different things. This was very much based on playing career and not as much on the off the court.
And this was a panel of 15 Arizona
media members
who voted on the rankings.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, on the court, KJ obviously one of the all-time greats. I think for like 4 straight seasons, he was a 20-10 guy. There's that finals run in the 93 season. Obviously, everyone remembers Barkley, but KJ was a huge part of that. The dunk over Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the best dunks in Suns history. Yeah, but obviously we can't talk about him without acknowledging the other side of it. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, there's a Real Sports segment that you can watch and inform yourself on Mandy Koba and John Tao and Amanda Thomas and all the other accusations that have been levied against him. It would be kind of irresponsible to just gloss over that, because that is, as much as we love talking about sports, there are things that are more important. But just from a pure sports standpoint, I think that's a fair ranking for KJ, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, KJ on the court was one of he was so explosive, and I really believe that had he not, he had such a nagging hamstring injury that felt like it just lingered through his entire career. But when it wasn't there, like, he was as good as any guard in the league, virtually unstoppable when it came to explosiveness, could get to the hole, could pull up for that mid-range jumper right at the elbow. That was like his favorite shot. Like, he was such a good player. And there's a reason why Charles Barkley, he basically had tried to slap the shit out of KJ to get him to wake up, because in the playoffs, he was having a rough go of it the year they went to the finals, and finally he snapped out of it, and they were able to put things together and get all the way to the finals. So I just think his high and his lows, his highs were really high, and it propelled the Suns. Listen, he was one of my favorite guards growing up. He was one of the reasons why I thought that, I always wanted to be KJ when I was growing up, so I think it's warranted. 16, I think, is a good position, because he was, to me, like one of the first in my era, first guards that you really looked at and were like, oh, okay, yeah, the Suns have, a great point guard.
He was a guy that even Magic Johnson talked about how amazing he was on the court. Dagoon brings up a great memory too when he came back. If you noticed on the graphic, it had his years played. Then he came back a year after retirement in the final, I think it was like 10 games of the season, and into the playoffs, because Jason Kidd got hurt, and the team needed somebody to fill in and fill that gap. He came back and did that. But I want to move on. This is the first member of the Suns to make the list in the top 25. Who else do you think is worthy to be on this list from the Suns? I mean, who do you think will show up?
So we only have, how many do we have left?
So we have 15 left.
15 left. Okay.
I think there's definitely 3. 3 left, right?
Okay.
I think I got that. Yeah. So you got to have Book, you got to have Nash, and you have to have Barkley. Those are the 3 that I know for sure, because we're judging it based on their time in Arizona.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. And so, like, for sure, I think that. I will say this too. Like, if you haven't seen the list, go check it out. There's probably some feedback that you're probably going to want to give, because I'll tell you what,
these lists always do that.
There's a lot of Sun Devils on that list, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? No. But yeah, I think you got to have at least those three, I would say.
Yeah, I was shocked because I don't think they'll appear later on that Marion and Amari didn't find a way into that back half of the list.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm kind of surprised that neither one of them made the cut, although I understand like 25 there's going to be omissions across the board there.
Like Saul said, with all the ASU though, you probably could have put one of them in at the back end of that list.
Don't even get me started on that. Yeah. 9 ASU people. I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. Sun's town.
I don't know who. I don't know who was voting on this.
You do know who was voting.
Well, I don't know all the I don't know who all the Phoenix writers were that voted on this, but clearly they had a bias.
See, I abstained from voting because I don't know enough about the college history to really have like U of A and ASU, honestly.
Yeah,
but that seems like a lot compared to only 4 Suns.
4. I think you're right with Book, Barkley, and Nash likely being on the list, but should Book already be top 10 all time in Arizona sports? That's the thing I've been thinking about.
Yes. Because when you talk about the legends of Arizona sports history, you got to talk about, like, are they iconic? Could you talk about said team without at least mentioning them? And not only would you have to mention Devin Booker, but you'd have to have a significant portion of your franchise's history dedicated to Devin Booker, because he was there when the team was at its lowest point in the Sarver era. He was there when they rebounded and got to the finals, and he was there during, to me, what might be the golden age, hopefully, of Suns basketball here in the next maybe 2, 3, 4 years, and hopefully at one point bringing this team their first ever championship. If Devin Booker does that, if he gets this city their first NBA championship, to me, it immediately vaults them above the Diamondbacks championship, number one, because this is the original franchise in Phoenix. And number two, he did something that no other Suns great could possibly do. So the most iconic team in the Valley and the most iconic player on said team, he would be number one for me at that point.
Yeah, I think he's got a case already to be on Arizona sports' Mount Rushmore of athletes. And that's a really contentious spot to get one of those spots, because you're talking about Larry Fitz, Diana Taurasi, Steve Nash, Randy Johnson. But
you'd rate him over Steve Nash right now?
I don't know who I'd put him over. I'm saying he has a case. I'm not saying I would do it right now. But if he does bring the Suns a championship and does what Charles Barkley and Steve Nash couldn't do, he's obviously to the top, near the top of that list.
Or if he gets to another finals.
Right.
That's
so,
two.
I mean, that's more,
like that. He's already done things that Nash couldn't do. And yes, I understand Nash has 2 MVPs. Charles has 1. Book doesn't have that on his resume yet. But like, he's been here for twice as long as Chuck was ever here. So that longevity matters. The fact that Saul said, he oversaw one of the fastest turnarounds in NBA history in terms of, 1 season, worst record in the league, all the way to the best 3 seasons later. Only the Celtics back in the 70s have had a turnaround quicker than that. So I do think that with the finals thing, with the fact that he's still not done, he's only 26 years old. Like, he's still got 5 or 6 more prime years left in this city. So I think it's only a matter of time before he continues to climb, and I would already put him in the top 10.
Yeah, top 10 makes sense at this point. Top 5, if he wins a title, he's automatically in that top 5, and I think you make a great point. There could be a very good argument to put him at number 1 if they win a title. Plus, he's well on his way to being the highest scorer in Suns history. That's almost a done deal, as long as, knock on wood, injuries don't prohibit that. So it's tough to argue that Nash, if he accomplishes the title and is the greatest scorer, Nash is better than him. Never made a final. Sure, 2 MVPs. Barkley made a final, and an MVP, but wasn't here very long, as Gerald said. I totally see how Book could easily wind up number 1 in the not too distant future. And I don't think that's throwing shade at any one of the other Suns on the list. But if we were, who could help you? Shady Rays.
Oh, nice.
You didn't give us a chance to answer.
Which is also Ray Anderson's nickname.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not
no, not Shady Ray.
Oh, damn.
Let's talk about Shady
Ray catching stray strays.
He deserves it.
Hey, we're gonna ban ourselves from any more Shady Ray slander there. Shady Rays is the best in the business when it comes to sunglasses. They've got the best warranty out there. You break them, you lose them, even on day one, they're going to replace them. That's how much they believe in their product and believe in taking care of you. And if you want, right now, use that promo code PHNX. You're going to get 50% off 2 pairs or more of the premium polarized shades that they have to offer. They're an independent sunglass company and some of the best in the world. And they have a new shop at Kierland Commons, so you can go check out all the great sunglasses in person, heading up to Scottsdale. So exclusively, again, for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com, use the promo code PHNX, save 50% off 2 pairs or more. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Saul, did you have something?
I do, but go ahead and finish up the next ad read. That's going to be a spectacular question.
And no, I got no. Well, actually, did you enjoy lunch yesterday?
So, all right, I want to address something in the chat.
Phelps?
Okay, I've seen this so many times that it blows me away. Michael Phelps is not an Arizona athlete, guys.
He was born in Baltimore.
Yeah.
He just came here to train under Bowman and was like an assistant coach for ASU, and that's it.
That's it.
Not in Arizona at all.
Yeah, no. He has nothing to do with ASU, U of A, nothing outside of the coaching. He's not an Arizona guy. I don't know why people keep bringing him up. If he was an Arizona guy, then he would probably be number 1, but he's not. So, no.
Be hard to put an assistant swim coach on the top 25.
So
I'm sorry.
Damn good as an assistant.
Those 2 years he trained here were unlike any other.
Anyway, I just needed to address that because I've seen that so many times. I'm like, no.
That's fine. You know what's number 1, though?
I don't know. You tell me there, Espo.
Illegal
What's number
Pete's,
1?
who we had for lunch yesterday, they brought out a nice spread around here. Great tacos, great queso. They had a little of everything. Even the chocolate chip cookies are good. And if you want to go out and have some fun at Illegal Pete's, you can do that. They have happy hour 3 to 8 p.m. every day at all 12 locations. No matter where you want to go, you can go to any of the 12 for that great happy hour. Illegal Pete's, the go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer. For over 28 years. What did I miss in the chat?
No, it's just people keep going, well, Phelps lives here.
He did rehab in AZ.
Did he rehabbed in AZ? Okay.
That doesn't make him an Arizona athlete. He lives here.
I don't know what to say about
Brian. Emma Stone? Yeah, she wore a Suns jersey once. She was born here and went to Xavier. Why not?
Also, I do want to just go ahead and bring this up. There was a super chat. Brian, thank you so much for your super chat. It says, so we're just going to ignore DA going full Zion? Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
He was ironing his girlfriend's hair. All right. That's the excuse.
One thing that I just don't care about is what these guys do in their own personal life. They could do whatever makes them happy. I don't care.
Yeah, we're not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Yikes. FIBA World Cup. There's no good transition there.
You end up putting it in the hole.
10 foot tall. Speaking of 10 feet, the basket in FIBA World Cup was 10 feet tall today. Yuta Tabus. You guys got me all.
Yuta Tabus.
Wrong Yuta.
Yeah, 2004.
Yuta be here. Huh?
Played his final game in the World Cup as Japan lost to Australia. They were eliminated today. No Jock Landale on that team, injury. But Yuta out of the tournament. But I want to take a look at his overall numbers for the tournament. As we talked about yesterday, he was struggling with an ankle injury. But he averaged 16 points a game, 6 rebounds.
I think it was 4.3 rebounds, though.
4.3 rebounds. Yep, 4.3 rebounds, shot 60% on twos, but he was only 28% from 3. Are we concerned at all, or do we feel like this was ankle injury and playing on a roster that obviously not as talented as the one he's going to play on?
I have zero concern about Yuta Watanabe and his performance in the World Cup. He was one of the primary focuses of every defense because that team just didn't have a lot of talent, and that's what it is. He's not going to have that problem here, and he's going to have a lot more. He's going to have a lot more open shots when he's here, and his ankle hopefully will be 100% when he's here. So you throw all that stuff combined. Listen, he gutted it out for his country. He tried to do his very best. I think that is absolutely commendable, and I think these guys, that's how much their country means to them, is to represent the right way. And he did that. And I think mission accomplished. They got their first win over a European team ever in world play. So, hey, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you watch Japan play, and I know it was super early in the morning, so probably not a lot of people were, like, their guard attack was very, like, ISO, shake and bake, throw up a 3 heavy. Like, it wasn't the type of looks that Yuta's going to get on the wing in the corners, particularly. A lot of his shots were very well contested. He's going to be getting a ton of open looks when he's not the number 1 or number 2 option on the court out there. If anything, I was kind of encouraged by the fact that he shot 60% inside the 3-point line. He was doing a lot of stuff from the mid-range, getting to the basket and finishing well. Things that, you know, he might not be called to do on the Suns, but he at least did these things well to show that he's more than just, you know, a spot-up shooter. So I liked what I saw out of him. Like Saul said, he was gutting it out, playing through injury for his country, and he still was able to score, I think, more than 20 in 2 out of the 3 games. It was really the middle game where he just couldn't shoot worth a darn. And I think those threes will fall when he has a little bit better spacing around him.
When they're wide open?
Yes, that helps.
I think they will as well. My favorite moment of the whole tournament for him, it may have actually been in the prelim stuff. He went basically coast to coast on a play. Like, you never hear much about his handle, and he actually, it wasn't bad. He went from one end of the court, cut through the entire defense, laid it in, and it was pretty, but I'm not concerned. Look, It doesn't sound like it was a high ankle sprain. Those are the kind that linger for a while, so he'll probably get some rest, be fine. He's got, what are we talking, 5 weeks until training camps? That's ample amount of time to get some work done on it with the training staff, get better. Like Saul said, I appreciate a guy that guts it out, especially for your country, and something that was a point of pride. They were playing at home for the first time in FIBA World Cup play, and they got to beat a European team on their home court. That meant a lot for Japanese basketball. So I'll give a guy all the praise in the world for going out there and doing that. You're afraid I was going to knock the wink off the table?
You're getting so close.
I'm used to talking with my hands. So I look forward to seeing him, though, what he does, like you were saying, Gerald, when those looks are less contested, he's getting those wide open corner threes. I think it'll look a lot more like the Nets, Yuta, than the 3-point shooting in this tournament. So
yeah,
we got the best deal that we've ever had here at
we
PHNX right now. We are doing a diehard discount for 48 hours only. If you sign up today to become a diehard member, you're going to get it for just $60. Regularly $80. You can get it for $60 right now. This is savings you can't deny as part of our countdown to kickoff sale.
Undeniable.
You're going to get Gerald's unbelievable writing for free. You're going to, for a discount here, you're going to be able to read that. You're going to, not for free. I'm not giving it away. All right. We're still charging. We're not giving it away for free. You're also going to get to be part of the Discord, which is my favorite thing about the PHNX family. Is you get in there, you can talk Suns, you can talk all the sports, and it feels like a true community. You get a lot of people, supporting each other. I love that. So hurry up. This is the first time we've ever done this, and probably the last. You can become a diehard for $60 only. And don't forget also at phnxlocker.com, shirts are still $24 on discount until Friday. It's just that easy. Become a diehard. Get your T-shirt. Let's have some fun as part of the PHNX family. And, I like to have some fun going golfing. So you like to as well. I've talked about it. My game's ugly, but I look pretty good on the course when I wear my Pins and Aces. I'm wearing the PHNX Pins and Aces shirt from our golf tournament, but they've got great hats, great polos, a little of everything that you could want. Pins and Aces has. What's your favorite Pins and Aces thing you own?
A polo.
A polo? Yeah, I like the hat.
And the quarter zip.
Yeah, the quarter zip's nice as well.
And the ball markers.
It, right?
Yeah, I like it all. I also have the liquor stick.
You do?
Yeah.
We gotta go golfing then.
Yeah, well, I go golfing.
You can go to pinsandaces.com right now. Get 15% off with that code PHNX. We're gonna wrap up the show.
There's a super chat.
We have a super chat.
We'll read the super chat from Leo, who says, "Who is your starting 5 of the worst Suns of all time?" I think we save this for a topic another day.
I don't want to slander guys.
Yes, you do.
I mean, how many Shamits can I have on a team?
Stop it.
Hold on. All you have to do is go back to like 2017.
Yeah,
and replace
Harrison,
Devin Booker out of it.
Find one of those starting lineups.
You can put it on the 2000. We can just go 2018 if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Elliot Kobo, George King,
Tyler Ulis.
Oh man, the list goes on and on.
This man started off. I don't want to slander anybody. 17 names later.
Let's have some. Maybe we'll get into that another time. But let's have some fun to wrap this up. We talked about Gerald's vacation to start the show. But now, Gerald, I was watching along on your Instagram. I even messaged you. How the hell are you not as fat as me with everything you're eating? But I need you to rank all this stuff you ate and drank.
Man.
We have photos of what you partook in both New Orleans and Minnesota. I need you to rank and tell me what you liked here.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, before we start,
yeah,
I told you that these were going to be in order. I lied.
Okay.
Fat liar. Don't know what kind of order these are.
Okay.
In.
Well, let's bring them out then. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this was number 1 out of both trips. This was from New Orleans. This was a fried alligator po' boy, and it came with this like kind of sweet chili sauce and this like cilantro, mayo, pickles. It was honestly one of the top 10 things I've ever eaten in my life. I love a good po' boy. I love New Orleans. It's one of the best city foods in the entire country. And this sandwich was absolutely life-changing. I got it at Curio, so if you're ever in New Orleans, go hit them up and get the fried alligator po' boy. It was kind of regrettable because the day before I was talking about how cute alligators were because we went on the swamp tour. And the next day I was like, but can you fry one of them bitches up and put it on a sandwich?
Don't worry, these all died of natural causes. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Nothing to be concerned.
I'm sure.
I thought it was bold of you to already request to go on the New Orleans road trip this year so you can get it again.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't actually
request it.
He did not.
But he told me, then I was like, oh yeah, I booked it for both of us. So.
There we go. Perfect.
What else do we got from the trip here?
Beignets from Cafe Du Monde.
Of course.
A necessity when you're in New Orleans. They're so good. They're just, I can't really describe them if you've never had them before, but they're on another level.
They're pillows of pastry heaven.
He can describe them.
Look at
if you've never had them.
Lindsay will tell you they're mid, but Lindsay's completely wrong.
Lindsay's not here right now. So
these are heavenly, and if you are in New Orleans and you don't get them, there's something wrong with you.
Ingredient wise, Lindsay has some takes that are accurate. Food wise, I do not trust her food taste at all.
It's because of that one barbecue place in Las Vegas.
I don't know. I think the beignet thing is worse than the barbecue thing.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's unforgivable. This was a crawfish pasta from a place that, I'll be honest, memory was getting a little hazy at that point in the day.
So should we trust your rating on this too?
It was delicious. I didn't finish it all because I was full from all the things that we had been drinking that day, but it was fantastic. It was really good.
What's next?
Oh, that's a hurricane.
Of course.
No.
Yep. Only one. You can only have one of these because if you have two, you will ruin your next 48 hours pretty much.
Have I told you my hurricane story?
No.
I think so.
We were at the New Orleans All-Star game. Go to Bourbon Street the first night. I have two of those bad boys because I don't know.
And you know Espo.
Yeah.
Like super lightweight Espo.
I was a little, I could handle it a little bit more back in the day. I wound up passed out in an Arby's at the end of.
Not an Arby's.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I had to have the great Sean Deloney help me get back to my my hotel room.
Oh, Sean.
Yeah, we were both a little worse for wear, and then I ran the what do you call it, skills competition at the NBA All-Star game the next morning. Hungover as shit.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. What do we have next here? These are the charbroiled oysters. I got them from Mr. Ed's Oyster Bar. They've got like multiple locations, so it's kind of like a chain, but they were so filling. I've never been full eating oysters before. They were so oily and cheesy that it was a little bit much by the time I got to the last one, but they were delicious.
But you powered through.
I powered through.
Okay.
Did the Lord's work. This was actually from Minnesota. Wakame Sushi. This was my fiance's favorite sushi spot when she was coming up through college. It was nearby to where she was living, and it lived up to the hype. It was pretty solid. I enjoyed it.
Minnesota sushi. Wouldn't have thought that.
Minnesota good. And then we've got this was actually low key one of my favorite meals on the trip to Minnesota. We went to a place called The Burrow with her side of the family. They threw me like another little bachelor get together, and I had a hamburger with bacon and cheese curds on it.
Whoa.
It was really good. Like I saw it and I was like, this sounds intriguing. And they put like a little kind of honey glaze over the top of the cheese curds. It was one of the best burgers I've
That shit
had.
makes me want to throw up.
I know.
You don't like cheese? Oh, you don't like cheese.
Yeah.
That's the thing though.
I now know what I'm doing the next time I go to Culver's. I'm getting the cheese curds and a burger and combining that.
It was really good. And then we have, this was from Heggy. So this is actually an oven-made pizza that they have out there. It's like a regional thing because I've never seen it around here, but it's like a DiGiorno or Tombstone or whatever. You just throw it in the oven, and our host put like sliced pepperoni and extra cheese on top of it. I've never had an oven-made pizza that was that good. It was unbelievable.
It looks so mid.
It looks mid.
It really does.
But it's delicious. Like the cheese was really good.
It was that shit like I cooked from friggin' Costco.
Dude, right? I asked Gerald, I was like,
Well,
was
it's
this even
oven-made
good?
pizza, so it's like it's not like fresh from a restaurant or something, but it's the best oven-made pizza I've ever had. That's for sure.
Our friend Flex says you're going to have to get him the lowdown on all Minnesota food. He's going to
Oh, is he?
check out the Vikings this year.
I can do that. These were cheese curds from the state fair. They were delicious. I made the mistake of getting them later on in the day after I had eaten like 20 different types of food. So it was rough powering through those, but it was good. Yeah, I really am upset about this image that you chose.
Yeah.
This is a video that Emma screenshotted with me just going to town on this deep fried
just
Snickers.
fucking going ham on that fucking dog.
And it was delicious.
Ooh, I bet it was, buddy.
great.
It looks
We
really
talk
tasty.
about DeAndre and have get that screenshot today. What is this?
I
shit?
got powdered sugar all over my
I'm
shorts.
surprised you didn't have to use your other hand to hold it up.
You guys are the worst. Let's move on to the cookies. Sweet Martha's
That's
cookies.
a bucket of cookies.
That's a more wholesome picture. So mad at you, Emma. But no, they like literally try to stack cookies as high as they can if you order the pail. So she's like scooping up like 10 cookies at a time and layering them on top, and you get to the top and you're like, why is she still going? I can't put the lid on this thing. And apparently that's the thing at the Minnesota State Fair. They try to stack it as high as they possibly
you gotta
can.
Stuff your face with Pepperidge Farm.
Yeah. It was
Minnesota.
Is that Boston?
That was
Oh,
not
my bad.
Minnesota.
It wasn't Minnesota. It wasn't Boston. It wasn't anything.
But yeah, the Sweet Martha's cookies were really high up there. And then we have one of my favorite things, the fried pickles that were filled with cream cheese. Oh man.
It sounds amazing,
So
but
good.
it also sounds just like, man, do I want to have a heart attack today?
No, it was.
When I saw that, I was like, yes, heart attack's worth that.
Line it up. Yeah, that was really good. That was one of my favorite things I got at the state fair. And then this was another po' boy. I think I got a fried oyster po' boy at this place called Sea Salt Eatery in Minnesota. It's near like a dog park. It's in the middle of this big green park. It's just kind of a random restaurant that's in the middle of this park, but it was actually really good. How
many we're still going. How much food did you take pictures of?
All of my meals.
Your one hobby?
All of my meals, yes. When I travel, my favorite thing about going to new cities is the food.
Yes.
And I will document all of it, because then if I'm back in that city, I'll like go through my highlights and be like, okay, what do I want to eat this time?
Yeah. If you follow Gerald on Instagram, his highlights, he has highlights with just food.
Yeah. I had to unfollow Gerald because I'm trying to lose weight, and all his Instagram does is make me hungry.
Yeah, that's a rough one. And then what do we have here? Oh, these were like these pokey things that came on a little chip of, what are they called? The kale or whatever.
Seaweed? Seaweed paper?
Seaweed? Yeah, the seaweed, whatever. I'm clearly
Gerald.
not a health person.
That green shit I didn't want to eat.
Like lettuce? No, not that. But yeah, poke was really good. This was up in Stillwater, which is right by the river that separates Minnesota and Wisconsin. So that was pretty cool. We had some drinks there. I truthfully don't remember what mine was, because it was just kind of okay. But the fiance got a very fancy pink cocktail. And then these were actually homemade drinks. They were called Pears Gone Wild, and it was like this pear-flavored vodka with like simple syrup and something else in it that our host made that was really tasty. Oh, I forgot about the Juicy Lucy, though. Yes, another flattering screenshot from here.
You're welcome.
But if you've never heard of a Juicy Lucy, there's this place called Matt's Bar in Minnesota that they claim to have the original there. And it's basically just a hamburger that they inject cheese into. So they cook it with the cheese in the middle of the patty. It's like sealed in there. And when you get it, you have to wait a couple minutes, because if you bite into it, it'll burn the fuck out of your mouth. And I waited a few minutes and it burned my hand because it dripped from my mouth to my hand. But it was really good. I immediately ordered a second one. And yeah, that's it. That's all that I ate.
Brian says, love how Gerald meets NBA stars, but takes pictures of uncooked pizza.
The pizza was cooked. It just wasn't a very high quality
pizza just
photo.
looked so mid, Gerald. I don't believe you that it was.
Emma, I will order a Heggies and I will prove you wrong. It was the best oven made pizza I've ever had. Better than DiGiorno, better than anything you can buy out here. 1,000%.
The chat needs glizzy girth with that sax sound.
Okay, hold on. Do you have the sax and do we have the picture? Let's give the people what they want here.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Glizzy, baby. Give it to us.
I'm trying so hard.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh, you gotta let that saxophone right out now. Just enjoy.
I think we
hostile work environment.
I think we skipped the toy saxophone for every win and we just throw this up. What do we not? What do we say?
Oh, we can just this intro graphic. Welcome to Girth.
I have no words.
Let me remind you, you took a video of you eating this thing.
It was me taking a bite of something that has been turned into this.
If you watch the video, like, my guy is enjoying that fried Snickers for sure. Like,
Well, Gerald, I went
close
through.
your eyes and listen.
I watched the video a couple times over, and I was like, "Oh, I can get like this cute screenshot." But then I saw the opportunity, and I had to take it.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
So welcome back, Gerald.
It's good
That's
to be
what you
back,
get for
guys.
missing 11 straight days.
Hello says, "Oh yeah, I feel it in my bones." Welcome back, Kurt. This is fun. I'm glad you're back, Gerald. People are asking for this to be a reoccurring segment.
Well,
I don't know if it was because of the screenshot or because of the food, but we'll see what we can do.
When I get my 1 or 2 vacations during this time of year, we'll bring it back the same time next year.
Do we have more super chats? Is that it?
I think that was. Oh, we do.
Oh, we do. Okay. Leo Barrientos says, "Who is your?" Oh, we already read that one. All right, sorry. Suns Worldwide says, "I tried to convince them to keep you in Minnesota."
He's trying to get your job, is what he's saying.
Okay,
so,
I see.
I'm actually surprised you didn't run into him while you were out there.
No, he messaged me a couple times while I was out there, but no, I mean, the Minnesota State Fair is huge, and we had stuff to do every single day, pretty much.
Did you talk to PD before you went and get any of these recommendations?
I actually didn't, but I don't think we barely had time to do all the stuff we had planned, so it might need to wait till next trip I am always looking for recommendations on trips, though.
His DMs are open. Give him food recommendations. Nothing weird. All right. He is Gerald Bourguet. You can follow him at Gerald Bourguet. He is Saul Bookman. You can follow him at Saul_Bookman. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. And you can follow me at Espo. And remember, when you're traveling and you take pictures or video of you eating food, it could come back to bite you. Ahoy, hoy!
Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saul pass the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B, always on the job.